Hi again, welcome to lesson 3, Maths. We're getting through this really quickly, remembering we're going to build this up over the days. This is just a quick introduction, I don't want to overload you too much. Okay, so if you could please head up your book once again, Maths Mentals. Now the Maths Mentals we're going to do today are a little bit different, they're a little bit shorter. Yesterday I gave you a series of 3, and some people went ahead and did all 3 and got lots of stars for that, but that can be a bit of catch-up work if you didn't get that done. Okay, now the Maths Mentals that we're going to do today are called Minute Maths. They're really quick and they cover lots of areas that we're doing, and we're working on fractions at the moment. So this is why we're doing this, because we just don't want to do lots of adding or taking away. We want to do a little bit of mixture of everything. So head it up, Maths Mentals, and go to the first one, and let's go through this together. Now what I want you to do is, after we've gone over the question and you understand it, I want you to pause, write your answer and have a go at that, and then come back and see what the answer is. Okay, because you can't get better if you can't get the feedback and know what the answer is. They're relatively easy, so excuse me, as I said, this is just a little intro to get into it and get used to distance learning. So head it up, mental maths, you can write minute 1 if you want. We're going to do 2 today to catch up from yesterday. There was some other work yesterday as well. That's okay, we'll talk about that in the last lesson. Okay, first one, circle the number that has 4 in the tens place. Easy peasy. So is it this one? No, because that 4 is in the ones place. That 4 is in the ones place. That 4 is in the thousands place. And 49, yep, that's the one. It's in the tens place. So just write that one down. Number 2, circle the set of lines that are parallel. And we know this from our song, don't we? It's C. Okay, write the decimals in order from smallest to biggest. So you're going to write question 3 and write them down from smallest to biggest. Okay, now of course the first smallest number is 0.034, then the next biggest number is 0.340, and then the biggest number is 0.403. Write the fraction that represents the shaded boxes. So the first thing we do is the denominator is how many altogether, what makes up the whole. So we count all the boxes, and then we count how many shaded and we write it in. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's 2 rows, so that's 10, and there's 3 shaded, so that's 3/10. What do we get? What do we add to 5 to get to 12? Well, of course, we have to take 12 minus 5, that's a part and that's a whole, so we take the part away from the whole and write it in. Of course, that's 7. 6 is what comes next in the pattern. 1, 5, 9, 13. So we have to work out what it is going up by. What's the algebraic rule? 5 take away 1, that's 4. 9 take away 5, that's 4. 13 take away 9, that's 4. So the algebraic rule is plus 4, so we add 4 onto 13. Easy peasy. Okay, 7. What is the area, number of squares of the rectangle to the right? Now, normally in area, we'd go length by side, but we're just going to count the squares. We're going to see how many square units. So count those up and write them in. According to the chart, how many desks are in column A? I'll let you figure that one out. That's pretty easy too. And then we've just got some simple multiplication here. I want you to write the answers in. And then some simple division. Try and get hold of a multiplication chart at home. That may not be possible, but have a look at a times table chart if you're not sure. Okay, so desks in the column, of course, are 5 desks. In number 9, 9 fours are 36, 9 sevens, 9 nines, 28 divided by 7, 42 divided by 7, 63 divided by 7. 63, 9 sevens 63, 9 nines are 81, 28 divided by 7 is 4, 42 divided by 7 is 6, 6 times table is my favourite, and 63 divided by 7 is 9. Let's have a look at minute 2. So don't forget, pause in between, so you write those answers down. If you flip a coin 10 times, how many times is it likely, not definitely, but likely to land on heads? Is it 10 times? That's not very likely. B, C, or D, impossible? Well, it's not that one and it's not that one. And we all know that flipping coins is about it being 50-50, so the answer is B, 5. Which shape's a pentagon? And a pentagon, remember, pause before you check your answers, is, I call it secret agent house, the Pentagon in America. So this is the pentagon here, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. Write each fraction in number form. 2/5. Now, the number that you hear first goes on the top. So 2/5 is 2/5. 3/4, 3/4. Write the fraction that represents the shaded boxes. You guys know that one. Now, number 5, this is a bit of BODMAS, isn't it? So slowly things start creeping in and building up, and I want to build up your confidence over this time. The BODMAS comes first, and then you add that number. So 3 4s, and then you add 4. What comes next in the pattern? 4, 8, 12, 16. Remember, you have to take away to find out what the rule is, and then you add it back on to find the next number. 8 take away 4, so they've added 4. 12 take away 8, they've added 4, so you add 4 to 16. What is the perimeter, the distance around of the rectangle to the right? So perimeter is if you run around the outside, and we've got 3 and 3 here, and another 3 and another 3. So you're going to add them up. 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. Well, you could go 3 times 4 because it's all the same. Or you could go 3 plus 3 times 2. But this time they want boxes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12 units. According to the graph on the right, A, now this time we've got a horizontal bar graph. So you work out what those add up to, the content is. So A is 5, B is 20, and C is 30. Work those out. Okay, now this is starting to get into our fractions, isn't it? What kind of fraction is this called, where the top number is bigger than the bottom number? It's an improper fraction. And what do we need to do to turn that into a proper fraction? We need to divide the bottom number, the denominator, into the numerator. So 24 divided by 6 is 4. 36 divided by 6 is 6. And 18 divided by 6 is 3. All right. Now, if you didn't do all the maths mentals from yesterday, and they were 3 columns just of questions. I think I've still got them here. They're on Teams as well. Oop, that's not it. That's the same one we did. Here they are here. No, that's not it either. I'll just go into Teams and find them for you. It's a really good idea if you go and do that now, just so that you're up to date with everything. Here it is here. So download it. I'll pull it up on the screen, and if you can't get it or just want to use it from here, you can pause and take it from here and just do it in your books. There's 3 columns of it. Now, this kind of maths mentals is something I'd give to lower grade kids because it's just the practicing of the 4 main operations. This is why I'm not using it from Teams, because it might take a little bit of time. But here they are here. You can make that bigger, but just go through set 1, set 2, and set 3. For T, it says you change something. Guys, make sure you download and don't just change. It comes up and tells me if people have changed things. And here they are here. You can just work those out. But guys, give me your feedback. If you find that this is helping you more, I'll keep adding this on, as well as a quick minute maths as well. catch up and do all 3 columns today. Send me your feedback about it, and I can put on both Mathmentals if you want. Okay, now let's have a look at actually what we're learning in maths, and that's out of the student workbook. I'll just close these, which we were working out of in class, and you guys completed your first test. We were really going really well, actually. This workbook is on Teams under Maths. So we've done all the other stuff on integers and shapes and all that kind of stuff. So now we're up to slide 15, which is comparing and ordering fractions. So just pause whenever you need to, just pause me and catch up. Okay, so head your book up, fractions. So the things that we need to remember about fractions is when 2 fractions have the same denominator, the same bottom number, the greatest fraction is the one with the largest numerator, and the numerator is the one on top. So here we've got 3, 6 and 4, 6. So of course 3, 6 is less than the tail of the crocodile, pointing at which one's the less than 4, 6. Because if we had a circle with it sliced up into 6 parts, and we had 4 coloured in, that's more of a whole than 3, 6. 2/4 is greater than, there's the big mouth of the crocodile eating the bigger number, than 1/4, because out of that circle split up into 4, a half is almost coloured in, whereas here there's only 1. 3/8 is less than 6/8. When 2 fractions have the same numerator, the greatest fraction is the one with the largest denominator. So here the top numbers are the same, but the denominators are different. So the greatest fraction is the one with the largest denominator. So 1/8 is less than 1/6, because in fractions, the more you slice something up means the smaller the fraction. This pie is sliced up into 8, whereas this pie is only sliced up into 6. So this fraction is smaller than this one. 3/6 is smaller than 3/4. And 4/6 is greater than 4/8 because there's only 6 slices, not 8. All regular fractions exist on a number line between 0 and 1. Remember, a fraction is not a whole number. Each time the numerator increases, more pieces are being added towards the whole. But if the idea of pieces is confusing, you can just sort them by comparing them to each other, the way you would line up smallest to tallest, by measuring people next to each other. So here we've got 1/6, 2/6, 3/6, 4/6, and then 5/6. And when we get to 6/6, what does that become? It becomes one whole, doesn't it? So we have 3 types of fractions that we've learnt. We've got a proper fraction, which is a normal fraction with the numerator smaller than the denominator. We've got an improper fraction where the numerator is bigger than the denominator. And of course, we can turn an improper fraction into a mixed fraction by dividing the top number by the bottom number. And that's when we get a whole number and a fraction, it's called a mixed fraction. Okay, so let's compare drawn fractions. Take a look at the shaded shapes, write the fraction for each shape, and then write a greater than or less than symbol in the circle between them. So all I want you to do is head up comparing drawn fractions in your book, and this is question 1, and I just want you to write 4/5 is greater than 2/5. Now we can see this, there's 4 parts of this shaded. There's only 2 parts of this shaded, so this one's almost a whole, that's why it's greater. This one here, what's this? Okay, so this is 1/4 and this is 3/4. So 1/4 is less than 3/4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2/5 and 1/5. So 2/5 is greater than 1/5 because there's 2 parts coloured in, and over here there's only 1. Now they've tried to trick us, they've spun it around, but we've got 1/3 here and 1/3 over here. So what are we going to use? Greater than or less than? Aha! Who remembered equal? They're equal, aren't they? They're the same. So we just do an equal sign. So what's this fraction and what's this fraction? So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 parts here. So 1/4 and 3/4. So 3/4 is greater than 1/4. And I'm sure you've got it now, so you can go ahead and finish those and just pause while you do so. Okay. Now, fractions on a number line. So you can head that up in your book. Of course, if you printed this out, just fill it out if you're lucky enough to do that. Place each of the following sets of numbers on the number line provided. Once they are done, see if you can come up with a rule that you can use anytime you compare fractions with the common denominator. Okay, so they're all got the same denominator, so that's easy peasy. So the smallest is 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, and 4/5. And of course, once it goes 5/5, it then becomes a whole number. Same here, do that for the 8ths, the 10ths, and the 6ths. And what's the rule that you would use with common denominators? How would you describe to a friend how to order these fractions so that it becomes a whole? And of course, if it's the same denominator, the numerator going up will tell you how much of a whole it is. So the rule is you're adding 1 to the numerator and the denominator is staying the same then. Now, if you can print this out, this is just a fun little activity that we put in. You're just helping the archaeologist Jones navigate this mind-bending maze by comparing fractions with like denominators and following the path of correct answers. While a wrong step could end in a spike pit, finding the perfect path will put him in a position of previously unpondered personal prosperity. So a bit of alliteration there. So all you have to do is just go through. If that one's correct, you just colour in the correct ones until you get to the finish, which is a treasure. If you haven't got a printer, don't worry about it. We're moving on to fractions on a number line. So this one here, this has got denominators that are different. So don't forget, the rule that we read up the top is when you compare fractions, if they have the same denominator, you're looking at the numerator. And if they've got different denominators, the bigger the fraction at the bottom, the smaller the number. So let's see if we can put fractions on a number line that have a different denominator. Okay, so we've got 1/5, 1/2, 1/8, and 1/10. So the smallest one here is going to be 1/10 because that piece of pie has been split up into 10 pieces. So that one goes here. The next one is 1/8, which goes here. Then we've got 1/5 is next, and then a half. And then the next one, you pause me and put that one in order. 3/10, 3/8, 3/6, and 3/3. Then the next one, 2/10, 2/8, 2/6, and 2/3. So you can see how we're putting the larger denominator first. Then 4/10, 4/8, 4/6, and 4/5. And the rule when ordering fractions with common numerators is that you have to look at the denominator, isn't it, to see how many are put up. Now tomorrow, this is really looking at stuff that is on our fractions test. So we're going to go over this in quite some depth tomorrow. We're going to really look at how to find fractions of whole numbers, how to solve problems using fractions and improper fractions turning into mixed numbers and subtraction of fractions. So that's tomorrow. If you want to go ahead and have a look at that now, you can do that. But otherwise, that is the end of this maths lesson. You did it. Well done. Only one more lesson to go. Remember, if you didn't finish those other 3 tasks yesterday from Maths Mentors, please go and do that now. Thank you.